Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Right here I have my most recent blood test results, and honestly these surprised me. I can't wait to get stuck into them with you. But basically today we're going to be uncovering what has happened to these results, what has happened to my testosterone, blood nutrient status, all that good stuff after losing over 15 kilos, 6 months of weight loss, and being around about 8% body fat right now. So some very exciting stuff to discuss. Let's get into it. So we are in the office now, and before we get stuck into the results and discuss them, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a background in terms of my weight loss history and what I'm actually doing at the moment, because some of you might be new listeners or not fully clued in as to what I'm actually doing. So basically I'm in a comp prep now, and I started this journey in August last year. So basically in August I was weighing around 95 kilos, and I did something called a mini cut. And within that period, basically a mini cut is a fast aggressive fat loss period that lasted about 7 weeks, and I lost about 6.5 kilos. So I got down from around 95 to around 87.5 kilos. So that basically led me into a maintenance phase, or maintenance slash slight surplus, where, try saying that 5 times quickly. And that was about 4 weeks. I gained about 2 kilos within that period, and my weight increased from around 87.5 to around 89.5. And that essentially led me into the start of my comp prep, which basically, I remember the date of that, 2 days after my birthday, October 19th of 2020. So I begun prep at around 89.5 kilos, and then I got my blood work done this Wednesday, and that was when I was around 79 kilos. So that's a total of over 10 kilos of weight loss, which is quite significant. The other thing I want to share as well is I'm very fortunate to have another blood test result, and that was taken basically in my maintenance phase, when I was after my mini cut and before my prep. So that was on the 6th of October 2020, and this last blood test result I got was on the 3rd of March 2021. So I'm very fortunate again, because now I can compare basically post mini cut, where I'm still a very healthy body weight, all that kind of stuff, versus in the depths of prep, suboptimal body fat percentage, all of that kind of stuff. So right now we're going to get into the actual results, and we're going to start with all the juicy topics, so all the hormonal stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to start off this section with a disclaimer. I'm a dietitian, not a doctor, so none of this is medical advice. It's purely my experiences. So what I'll do is put up the reference ranges on the screen of basically the guide they give you, or where these numbers should sit, and obviously the results as well. So let's start off with the juicy topic, testosterone. What's happened? So again, I was surprised at this, and surprised, like some of you might have assumed in a good way, but unfortunately not. It's even lower than I expected. So basically in October it was 11 nanomoles per liter, and then my most recent test was 1.6 nanomoles per liter, the reference range being 10 to 33. So that brings us on to free testosterone, which again, similar story, 28 picomoles per liter versus, I didn't actually get a result from that in October. So again, that's well below the reference range, which begins at 150 to 700. So again, these aren't surprising results in a sense, because I'm at a suboptimal body fat level. I've been dieting for a long time, and we know that testosterone decreases in response to this. So the next hormonal aspect is TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That's important for basically regulating your metabolism. So this is still in range, which is good. So 3.3 versus 2.1, reference range being 0.5 to 4. And again, it's not surprising that this has gone down, since this basically goes down in conjunction with weight loss, and the more extreme the weight loss, the more you'll notice that this has gone down. But at least it's not out of range, it's still within range, which is excellent. And so that's basically a summary of all the more hormonal results, and I'll get into a bit more of a discussion later, but let's move on to all the blood nutrient ones. So these are all fairly positive, which is great. So vitamin D3 was within range this blood test, which was great. I've actually been supplementing with it which is odd in Australia since Australia has so much sun and I go for walks in the sun as well. But yeah, that increased to 64 nanomoles per litre. B12 is within range, which is excellent, happy about that. Serum folate is within range, which is excellent. Iron is within range, so iron in blood is within range. So 19 micromoles per litre, that did decrease slightly. But I've had trouble in the past with iron, I think mainly because a family, like a genetic component potentially, but also because I consume so much fiber, which potentially interferes with the uptake. And ferritin, which is basically a measure of stored iron in the body, that increased, which obviously I'm happy about. Calcium stayed about the same, well within range, which is excellent. And unsurprisingly, it would be a worry if my cholesterol and triglycerides were out of range, but fortunately, they are both within range. So yeah, I'm very happy with all my blood nutrient results. Like, that's the best outcome I could have hoped for. Something that I'll continue to work on is the vitamin D3. Like, there's not much I can do about that in the diet. I'm just gonna have to keep supplementing, keep being sun safe, but also spending some time in the day in the sun, which I'll do regardless. I walk to and from the gym, and being cautious about my iron as well. So just ensuring that I have some decent iron sources throughout the day. Like my most frequent one is red meat in the form of kangaroo mince, which is fairly unique to Australia. And yeah, hopefully I'll probably get another blood test at the end of prep just to check on everything, but happy with the blood nutrient stuff. And I mean, let's be honest, in terms of the testosterone and thyroid stimulating hormone, it's all kind of to be expected. So what would have been abnormal is if my testosterone increased. So yeah, that would have been surprising. But yeah, let's head into a little bit of a discussion around like the reality of dieting. So some of you guys might be surprised at these results, some of you might not be. Those of you who might not be as familiar with extreme dieting in comp prep might be a bit more surprised, but basically we know that if you take something to the extreme, you're potentially going to get some more extreme side effects and extreme results as well. So in order to get the extreme results of being very lean, striated glutes, all that kind of stuff, yeah, potentially going to have to do extreme things like deprive yourself of energy for an extended period, which is what I've done since around August of last year. So interestingly enough, we know that when people are obese or heavily overweight, their natural testosterone decreases. When they're a normal body weight, that's a fairly optimal position for testosterone versus a lower body fat, which I'm at now, which is suboptimal. So if you go to either end of the extreme, you're going to get some discrepancies in testosterone readings. And we know that my energy availability, which is basically says what it means, it's the amount of energy you have available on a day-to-day basis, that has decreased, which is why I've experienced the side effects of the lower testosterone, the hunger, the tiredness, the fatigue, all that kind of stuff. Like, I'll give you a few analogies, like you're sitting on the couch, you want to reach for that TV remote to change the channel, there's an ad on, but you'd just rather watch the ad on the channel than reach for that remote. And yes, it sounds sad, yes, it's extreme, but that's kind of the reality of the fatigue I'm experiencing at the moment. So yeah, it's just part of the game plan, part of prepping in general. So this is something that people need to be aware when dieting, is that it's not particularly healthy. It is a reality of doing this. So these are things you need to be aware of if you decide to go down that comp prep route. It's definitely not for everyone. It's an extreme form of sport, just like any other extreme sport. So basically I'm going to sign off the video here. I really hope it was insightful for you guys. Hopefully you learned something new and basically learn about the realities of comp prep and what it can do to our blood work, and like physiologically, a little bit of psychological stuff in there as well. But it is important to know what happens when you do compete and know the side effects before you do it. So if any of you are contemplating going to that next level of dieting and getting stage lean, then it's important to understand what is involved in that. So if you have any comments, have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Leave me any other video suggestions. If you like the full days of eatings, let me know. If you want more of this sort of discussion-based stuff, let me know. Otherwise, Tierra and I will see you in the videos to come. Cheers.